Hello, I'm Cynthia Ng. You are tuned in to AWANI Review, and I'm really excited because joining me today is Farhan Qureshi. He is the Country Director of Google Malaysia. Now, Google has just recently announced a $2 billion investment in Malaysia to develop its first data center and cloud region here. And this is, of course, a major development for Malaysia when it comes to improving and boosting its digital infrastructure and the digital economy. So first of all, let's dive into the details. Farhan's with me. Thank you for having me at your very, very beautiful office, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
So let's start with this big news from Google, $2 billion investment, and this would be Google's largest investment in Malaysia so far, and the second cloud data center in Southeast Asia after Singapore. What prompted this decision, and why now?
Well, I mean, I think it's a really good question. Look, we've always been committed to Malaysia. Malaysia was the second office in Southeast Asia that we opened up 13 years ago. And since then, it's been a wonderful journey that we've seen so far. Last year, we met with the government as well, and we signed an MOU, which led to a strategic collaboration among four pillars that we had set out. How do we become a cloud-first country? How do we help with the upskilling in the world of AI that we're getting into? How do we kind of help build a strong infrastructure, and how do we kind of help the government, work with the government to enhance security and in the new world of AI that we work with. And so this is part of our announcement that we had, or collaboration that we'd done, and this year we decided to also then announce the data center conversation. And it's a really important investment that we're looking at. You know, the $2 billion is a significant investment, but the economic impact that it leads to for Malaysia will be even more significant. So we estimate about $3.2 billion worth of economic activity as a result of this investment that's going to come into place for Malaysia. More than 26,000 jobs will be created as a result of this investment. So we're very, very excited. We're fully committed, and we want to continue on this journey.
There's two parts of this investment. One is the cloud region and one is the data center, right? Could you walk us through what these two entail?
Correct.
And how is it?
So the way to think about it is, you know, it's a data center. There are two parts to it as well. So clouds, when you look at a cloud region, what that means is a lot of the customers that we work with for cloud technology in the country as well, they would like to use a lot of our storage facility, right? So the cloud region means those customers can store all their data at a cloud storage locations within the country, right?
Okay.
And there are, you know, many reasons for doing that as well. You want to have vicinity, you want to have regulations that you want to manage through, and therefore you want to have it in country, right? The other part is the data center piece, right? That's actually, that impact of that is not just in Malaysia, but it's beyond. So a lot of our products, all of our products, by the way, search, YouTube, maps, they at some point in time are all connected to a data center, which allows consumers to navigate through the web. So that infrastructure is now also going to be set up in Malaysia as well. And so it differentiates between how users are able to access information and how our customers are able to store their information. So those are the two key differentiations between them.
When do you expect this to be up and running? And also, if you can share with us, how is this going to change things for Malaysians in real terms? What
Correct.
impact?
Actually, that's a great question as well. So in terms of timelines, we've just kicked off the project. So I think in terms of getting the finalized timelines, we're still working on it, but it's moving at really fast pace as well, right? So we're going to start kicking off a lot of this year as well, and we have teams which are visiting regularly to ensure that we're kind of continuing to do that. In terms of how it changes a lot for the country, you know, I think there's a lot that's happening. I'll break it down to two specific parts. For any country to progress these days, it's all about tech. And if you look at growth in GDP, if you look at GDP per capita growth as well, you'll notice that tech sector has a higher GDP per capita. It basically means people are able to make better livelihood when you work in the area of tech. And to be able to get there are two parts to it, right? If you want to progress in tech, there are two parts. One part is being able to upskill yourself, to be able to build capability and talent. And then the other part is the infrastructure part, right? And this is a really good, important piece that we're doing for Malaysia right now. We're super excited about just that, these two pieces that we're building. We've talked about the infrastructure, which is all of this data storage and data center part. There's another part that we're also involved in, which is the education part, because we understand as we move forward into this new world that we're all navigating through, we have to make sure that we bring the talent along. The AI is such a new area for everyone that there's still academics that are being evolved. So what we've done a number of things, right? So we have courses that we have now set up. So we have 3 areas that we've gotten into, right? We have a Gemini Academy that we've set up, which started with about 600 educators. The whole point was there are fewer teachers and there are many more students to learn from. And the teachers and the educators are stretched most of the time. So how do you use the power of AI to be able to enhance their productivity, right? And we're going to scale this to 15,000 educators, right? So there's going to be a lot of these educators who will get the opportunity to be able to really focus on the more meaningful stuff which is bringing the kids along. The second part I'm also very, very excited about, which is the Experience AI. Experience AI is our way of able to design future innovators, right? And with this power of AI that's coming into play right now, there is going to be new innovation that comes out, many more innovations that we're going to see. So how do we help get talent at the younger age, between ages of 11 and 14? How do we get their right mindset about AI and how to kind of work through it, how to kind of understand it, how to navigate it and use it to be able to come up with more creative ideas, right? So we've just launched that as well as part of this massive investments that we're also trying to do in the country, where we're going to be able to work with educators who are going to be able to understand and then be able to impart this knowledge. And we want to take this to about about 10,000 students as well between the ages of 11 and 14. The third piece that we're also very excited about is our Gamilang program, which is a part of our Google Career Certificate. So we also know that in this new world where academics in tech are evolving constantly, we've created our own programs, right? In the last few years, we gave out scholarships, which were about 31,000 scholarships in 9 different programs that we'd created in the areas of cybersecurity, UI, UX development and design, project management, IT, all of these new areas where people are still trying to understand how it works. Now, the challenge with a lot of these academics that are already available is that you needed to have a lot of prerequisite courses done to be able to get them. Now, this program, you can start fresh. If you're in an advanced stage, you can still use it. You start at a fresh stage, you can still use it. And historically, we've seen in the 31,000 scholarships that we've offered and we've given, 80% of the people who finished the program, he came back and said, it created a massive impact in the way that they work. They were able to get better jobs. They were able to get promotions. It's a super exciting time about what this is all going to do for Malaysia.
So right now, the focus is all about having AI ready workforce.
Correct.
Malaysia is thinking about that as well, and also as every country. This $2 billion investment is expected to create, you said, like some over 26,000 jobs. Wonder, leading up to the establishment of the data center in the cloud region, how are you going to be prepared in terms of talent, and are you confident that you'll have the right talents in Malaysia?
Yeah, I think there is great talent in Malaysia. As I said, I think the thing is, with AI being such a new field, I think it's important for us to be able to do our part in terms of educating and upskilling the folks in the technology industry or not in the technology industry as well. So as part of this is going forward, what we're also doing is we've announced another program where we're saying we're going to work with about 161 colleges and universities, offering about 500 scholarships each. Now, and as I said, these are different programs that are offered. What we've also added on is an AI Essentials program to this, which didn't exist earlier. It's again a pretty comprehensive program where people can generally understand how to navigate through. There's so many of these AI models which are available. It's very difficult to understand which one is better, how do I work through it, how do I get the most out of it. So which is why we created actually a program which will help people get the most out of this new AI evolution that we're kind of seeing now. So yeah, so we want to bring consumers and our users and our tech developers along with this journey.
We've seen quite a number of large investments, tech investments coming, planned investments coming to Malaysia. There's this perception that big tech investments only benefit the larger urban population. So I do wonder, how is Google going to reach out to the more remote communities and also benefit small businesses, micro SMEs with your planned investment here?
Look, I think this is at the heart of what we try to do. As a company, we were also a small business 20, 25 years ago as well, right? And we've kind of managed to come a long way since then. So SME business at the heart of what we do. We know in terms of GDP contribution, SMEs in Malaysia contribute close to 40 or maybe over 40% of the GDP as well. So we're very, very close to that. And there are a number of things that we've been doing over a period of time. We'll continue to do as well, right? Historically, we've had programs which have been involved in upskilling our SME businesses to be able to use the power of technology, right? And there's some really wonderful use cases that have come out. So, you know, we have this lady who used a program to understand how to navigate through technology to be able to enhance her business. So, Dough by Sarah, who is a brand that used the power of you know, a lot of the Google platform to be able to enhance the business. And business has grown significantly since the time, and especially during COVID, when her order value of things came down to almost nothing. And now, using this power, she has, you know, at least 700 new orders every month that come her way because of the power that she used, right? The second, another very, very wonderful case that I think is phenomenal as well is Mohammed Zaid, who used, who's a candle manufacturer as well. During COVID, before that, he set up a company or set up a business, one-person business involved with his family, just trying to make candles. Now, although there were lots of orders that, you know, he was getting, but it was just restricted to the small area that he operated in, and obviously would not be enough to kind of cover his expenses. Again, used internet, used the power of Google Ads to be able to scale that business. Now he employs people as part of that business and growing his business substantially as well, right? So it's really heartening to see some of that coming to life as well. So we're very proud of what the work that we do there, and we want to continue building our SME businesses in the country as well. So something very, very close to as well.
Okay. Now, Farhan, you've quite recently taken on the role of as a country director of Malaysia. Could you talk to us about a bit about that, you know, that transition, and what are you most excited about looking at Malaysian potential and personally for you as well?
No, thank you so much. This is a huge opportunity. Malaysia is one of those countries I've always been very fascinated about. I've been here many times for personal reasons as well. I am truly excited because right now is the time for Malaysia, it feels. Like there's significant momentum in the country. You know, there's lots of great talent, great work that's happening. Our experiences of setting up these offices have just been great. And now with this new investment that we're making in the area of data center and cloud and upscaling, I think it's going to be a really wonderful time to be part of this journey, to be in Malaysia, to be able to see this growth over the next many years, about how far this is going to grow. So I'm very optimistic, and I'm so excited about being part of this journey at this point in time.
Well, Malaysians are very excited as well. Of course, this is the second cloud data center for Google in Malaysia after Singapore.
Yeah.
In Southeast Asia. So just moving back a bit to, you know, we talk a bit about AI talent. I think one of the key concerns when we talk about AI, of course, is data privacy, security. So having a data center here in Malaysia, can you talk to us about what is Google doing to ensure that customers' privacy and security are protected?
This is a really important question, and privacy is at the heart of what we do. Google and our products are successful because we have our users' trust, and that we do not take very lightly. So from the beginning of any product that we set up, whether it's a Google search product or YouTube or Maps or apps or any other product, you know, privacy is built into as part of its DNA. How you see it manifested in multiple ways is through our products. So simplest things like even email, when you get access to, there's a whole privacy filter and AI filter that works in the background to take away spam emails, which would just flood your email inbox, and probably create lots of you know, potentially dangerous things for your computer as well. But all of that is screened out. That's because of the, you know, the importance of that for us as well. So that's the second part of it. Then we think about as we head into this new world of AI, and you know, a lot of these conversations around how do we kind of navigate through these fake images and all of that we hear, right? And in that area as well, we've done a couple of things, right? It's a very intensely researched topic as we get into this new world, but we have a couple of really cool initiatives, right? We have Synth ID, which is to understand, you know, synthetic images, as we call it, to be able to watermark them. So users at some point in time should be able to differentiate whether an image is a user-generated image or is a AI-generated image, right? So that's, and then when you go into search, Google search, and you look at an image as well, you can click on the image, on the three dots on the side, and you can ask about the image. It'll tell you the history of the image, how long has it been on the internet, and then that allows you to kind of get a better deal about it. And when it comes to specifically Malaysia as well, that was one of the most important pillars that we had in terms of a strategic collaboration with the government as well, where we said that this is going to be the pillar that we're going to be also very focusing at cyber security and privacy is going to be at the heart of that collaboration as well. So data center is another extension to that, and we're going to continue to live with and really abide by the principles around AI that we've created.
Now, I want to talk a bit about going back to have small businesses, because when we talk about AI, I think some small businesses feel that AI can be too costly or too complicated. And how is Google supporting this small businesses when it comes to AI adoption?
Look, I think it's an important topic for us as well. We feel that as AI should try to simplify things versus make it complicated, right? But we understand from a user standpoint, this is a journey that has to be traveled. It is a journey of experimentation that has to be traveled for the user as well, which is why we're doing a number of things, right? Again, as I talked about, there is a AI Essentials program that we've created for businesses to also go through as well, and to be able to understand how do they use this power. And it's not actually a long program, it's a 10-hour program that you can do it at a self-paced way in over a week, couple of weeks, which will help you how do you use this, be able to simplify things, right? So that's great. We've seen, by the way, there's a AI Sprinters report as well, which was published some time ago, which talks about how newer startups are able to use AI to be able to reduce their development cost all the way up to 50%. How they manage to increase revenue by about 40%. Manufacturing concerns using some of this cloud technology and AI able to reduce their production cost by about 25% because of the maintenance cost that is involved. So this is, and we're trying to make it as simple as we can for everyone.
But are you reaching out to all these small businesses? Do you feel like you're effectively reaching out? Because Malaysia, if you look at, the challenge has always been, SMEs especially have different levels of digital
literacy.
Yeah, correct. So what's your experience so far, and what are your observations?
Look, so I mean, we've done a lot of work over the last many years about just to digitize as well, right? So even now, if you look at Malaysia, in terms of the jobs that are in the market as well, about more than 105,000 jobs are connected to how Google operates in the country. That's a pretty significant value that we bring, right? And over the last many years, we've worked with more than 50,000 SMEs as well to kind of help them understand the power of how do you digitize, right? And similar is the philosophy that we're moving forward as we kind of go into this AI world as well. There is lots of content available that we made available. A lot of it is also free. Actually, most of it is free, and that's why for a business person, it's easy to kind of get access to a lot of this, while we kind of use our local partners to provide scholarships as well for free of cost to be able to understand some of these programs.
Okay. Now, we've covered a lot of ground on the tech side, so let's switch gears a bit and talk about you. I mean, we've talked about you just recently taking on Malaysia as another one of your portfolios. What do you think would be some of the biggest challenges? When we look at Malaysian, it's still somewhat of an emerging market, but big investments coming in. So what do you think would be your key challenges moving forward to grow this market?
Look, so the way I think of it as a country leader with my past experience as well, what I do is I normally look through broadly 2-3 areas. So I look at from a country lens, how do we help enhance the technology sector in the country? If the country does well, businesses will do well, and we will do well, right? So for me, that's probably the most important pillar that we think through. How do we continue to invest and get the most out of helping the country out, right? And then the second pillar for me is obviously business, where we think through how do we continue to grow that business, which is very deeply actually connected to the first pillar, because if the country does well, the business will do well as well. And the third pillar for me is our people that work in this organization and kind of make this magic happen every day. How do we make sure that we're going to be able to help them create an enabling environment, and an environment which is fun and light and easy? We spend most of our time, by the way, working places versus we do at home. So if you're not enjoying, if you're not having fun, if you don't have a purpose, it's not going to be fun. So I think bringing the team together, that's the other piece that I'm actually focusing on.
Now, building relationships, like you said, is obviously one of the key roles as a leader. And how are you looking at the Malaysian environment, and how do you think Google can support more in terms of building local communities here?
Yes, great question again. So as I said, it's just been a very recent journey that I've started here. As a first step, I've actually started to meet a number of our key opinion formers in the country as well, most of our large clients as well. And I'm going to get more deeply involved with some of our scaled training programs that we're also going to do, where I'm going to get a chance to meet with some of our SME business as well, which is the most exciting part of what we're going to do. Then I want to spend time with, there are content creators which are on YouTube, which in some way are also SMEs in their own right? Because the small businesses trying to flourish on, and they're doing really incredible things. And then we have app developers, we have web developers. There's also like tech SMEs as well. And I'm excited about meeting them, seeing how we can unlock the potential of Malaysia even more using this power.
So we'll be seeing you more in Malaysia then.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward.
Every leader has got their own style, of course. How would you describe yours? And running a new, well, Google is not new. It's in Malaysia. It's 13 years now. But then taking on this additional role on top of your many other portfolios. How has it been working out for you?
Actually, I have spent in the first couple of months so much time in K. I'm really loving it. The team here is phenomenal. As a leader, the way I think about it, I think as a leader, what one should be expected to do is to create a culture. A culture which kind of brings everybody along on a journey, right? A culture where everybody feels deeply connected, culture which embraces diversity, culture which kind of, is all about purpose-driven and having fun, right? So maybe my most important role as I kind of take this on is to make sure that Google has such a wonderful, strong culture that it kind of just flows through different countries and all the business that we operate in, because that's what brings the energy to life, right? The people in this organization, their commitment to kind of making Malaysia great and continue to make it even greater, that's what's going to make it alive, right? So my job, I think my priority is to make sure that we create that sense of entrepreneurial capability, which you kind of go and say, instead of coming up with a way of saying, I know how to frame a problem, but saying, okay, I have a solution. It may be a scrappy solution, but let me try the solution as well. So that's what I want to make sure that culture comes into play, and sense of urgency to kind of do it now, do it today.
Yeah, I like the mentioned sense of urgency.
Yes.
Now, you have been managing some of these frontier markets in Asia, and I do wonder some of the key lessons that maybe you have learned from the other emerging markets, and how do you think they can be applied to Malaysia, especially our local context and our local environment? It's probably a bit different from where you've managed so far. So what's your
so I think
there?
right. So I think there are a couple of things that you learn from the emerging market. The one big one I think is the SME business. At the heart of emerging markets, the SME business drives a lot of it. How do you continue to focus there, right? The other part that you have to build is the user base. How do you ensure that more and more people are connected to the internet? And that's more into the frontier markets. In Malaysia, that's not as big a case right now, because the majority of the audiences, people are connected. Like YouTube is the most popular video platform in the country, right? We have connected TV devices with YouTube with more than 7 million users as well. Pretty massive numbers. But when we look at frontier markets, digital connectivity is one of the big areas. But SME businesses is basically what I feel, what we need to kind of migrate and think even more when we talk about Malaysia. Because if you build that business, and if you focus on specific verticals within that business where we are able to add more value, that's going to drive economic growth in those areas as well, right? So I'm very excited about that.
So I think what sets Google apart from other tech investments I've been seeing, data centers and whatnot, is that the community link is so strong for Google because you're consumer facing. We use YouTube, Google every day. So how, I think in that sense, I do want to get your approach. You're just not building infrastructure. You're having to build that community as well. That's
right. So I think that's where we feel that we are differentiated versus a number of other players who are also doing a great job in contributing to Malaysia as well. We have 6 of our products which have more than 2 billion users globally as well, right? We have 15 products which are more than 500 million users. So the amount of data, the amount of information that we have, when you overlay that with AI and the compute power which comes in the form of these data centers, it brings magic. And I just feel we're in such a well-placed place in our life right now, in our business as well, that we can really bring that power to Malaysia, and we're super excited about doing that.
All right. Well, we're really excited to hear about Google's commitment to Malaysia as well. Thank you so much, Farhan, for spending some time with me to talk about Google's plans in Malaysia, and best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Farhan.